Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. In the 1990s, Western Jamaica was the undisputed capital of Jamaica's football, as Seba United, Wadada, Violet Kickers and Reno FC dominated the nation's premier football competition, the National Premier League. In that glorious period of Western dominance, the region won the competition all of 8 times, with all 4 teams winning twice. Interestingly, in that period we also had 2 All-Western finals, one of which was an all-Montego Bay final. Unfortunately, the 2 Western finals turned out to be controversial as both had violent episodes. In the first of the All-Western finals, the 1993-94 Montego Bay derby between Violet Kickers and Seba United, the first leg game at Jarrett Park ended in a 1-0 win for Violet Kickers, while the second game at the National Stadium ended in disarray as irate Seba fans pelted the match officials with missiles after they disallowed what they thought was a legitimate goal. In the melee, the players on the field also engaged in several fistfights. 2 years after the incident at the National Stadium in Kingston, the second All-Western finals between Reno and Violet Kickers at Jarrett Park also was interrupted by violence as angry Reno supporters rained missiles on the pitch after referee Peter Prendergast had shown their goalkeeper Aaron Lawrence a red card. However, unlike the game in Kingston in which Seba was penalised and Violet Kickers awarded the trophy, the JFF ordered a replay in the Reno Violet Kickers game, which Violet Kickers won. In this edition of Lest You Forget, I will be revisiting the 1993-94 game at the National Stadium, as despite the fact that it ended prematurely, it was nonetheless an historic occasion, as it was the first and only time that 2 Montego Bay teams met in a National Premier League final, which concretized the view in the West that Montego Bay was the nation's football capital. After scintillating semi-final wins over Clarendon's Galaxy FC and Arnett Gardens of West Kingston respectively, Violet Kickers and Seba had sealed their place in the history books. Football fans in Montego Bay pleaded with the Jamaica Football Federation to play the 2 legs of the finals at Jarrett Park, but the Federation declared that, by virtue of being a national final, the second leg game had to be played at the National Stadium in Kingston. In the first leg game, played before a capacity crowd at Jarrett Park, the Errol Gillett coach Violet Kickers came away with a good 1-0 win, courtesy of a super strike by former Cornwall College Da Costa Cup star Milton Griffiths. At that time, Seba United was known as the kings of comeback in Jamaica's football, and there was a general feeling that they would turn the tables on Violet Kickers in Kingston. In the week between the 2 games, there was a lot of banter in between rival fans as they prepared themselves for that massive showdown in Kingston. The game in Kingston was being fiercely contested but broke out into a free-for-all when Seba scored a goal, but the referee ruled that it was not legitimate. Angry Seba fans began raining missiles on the pitch. Their negative energy spread onto the field of play, where several Violet Kickers players were attacked by their Seba opponents. The match officials had no choice but to end the game prematurely. In their subsequent ruling, the JFF awarded the game to Violet Kickers, while Seba was slapped with a substantial fine. In the aftermath of the game, both Coach Gillett and Coach Butner served notice that they would be quitting their position as coaches. Gillett, a former national player who now resides in the United States, said his decision to quit has nothing to do with the ugly incident that unfolded at the National Stadium during and after last Sunday's second leg final between Violet Kickers and Seba United. According to Gillett, who previously coached at the Howard University and Upsetter FC in Washington, D.C. I came here to assist Violet Kickers for 1 year, and that period has expired. It was a very good year for me, but it's now time for me to move on to other things. However, unlike Gillett, Buckner, who had also offered to coach Seba United for 1 year, said his decision to quit is a direct result of the violent end to the Premier League final. I am very upset about what took place at the stadium, and right now I am at a crossroads. I am thinking seriously of bowing out because I am not a violent person and I am not prepared to be a part of anything that promotes violence, Buckner said. Turning to a statement in which he blamed Seba United's coaching staff for the brutal treatment meted out to his players during and after the game, Violet Kickers' Gillett said his statement was in no way an indictment of Buckner. Steve is one of those persons I've always admired because of his discipline and dedication. I have the utmost respect for him, and he's the type of person I would like my sons to emulate. Based on what I know about Steve, I have no reason to doubt his integrity, Gillett said. Buckner, who had rushed out on the field of play in a bid to restore calm, made it absolutely clear that he was all for discipline. All that I have achieved was done through discipline. That is the type of message I would want to pass on to both players and supporters. I am prepared to give my full support to whatever measure is devised to restore calm. Football is too important to the West for us to allow violence to destroy it, said Buckner. In looking back at the melee at the National Stadium, it was definitely one of those unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Before you go, please remember to subscribe.